Samarkand is one of the oldest cities in Central Asia. Located at the heart of the Silk Road, Samarkand thrived as a center of international trade. One of the important remains was discovered in 1965 in Afrosia, northeast of Samarkand, and proved a historical fact that the city was the center of the ancient trade route. The murals at Afrosia Palace are presumed to date back to the middle of the 7th century, during the Sogdian era. Discovered in the heart of the old palace site, the wall paintings attracted huge attention from worldwide academia by depicting the prosperity of the Sogdian era. Although the Afrosia Palace became a ruin, the mural paintings show the ruler of Samarkand, Varkuman, receiving envoys from various countries, proving that Samarkand filled an important position on the international stage. Now let's take a closer look at Samarkand in the 7th century through the wall paintings of Afrosia Palace. Afrosia Palace. The ancient palace was found to have about 30 rooms during the excavation. According to Chinese records, it was highly likely to be a 2-story building. It would be a large-sized structure one could see from a far distance. The hall located in the center of the palace is a square room of 11 square meters, and the hall's walls are decorated with colorful murals. What were these paintings about, and why were they painted? On the principal west wall mural, an inscription remains on an ambassador's robe, written in Sogdian. When King Varkuman Unash came to him, the ambassador opened his mouth and said thus, "I am Pukarzate, the Chancellor of Chaganian. I arrived here from Turantash, the Lord of Chaganian, to Samarkand, to the king, and with respect to the king, now I am here. And with regard to me, do not have any misgivings. About the gods of Samarkand, as well as about the writing of Samarkand, I am keenly aware, and I also have not done any harm to the king. Let you be quite fortunate." And King Varkuman Unash took leave of him, and then the Chancellor of Chach opened his mouth. From the inscription, we can assume that the west wall mural depicts delegates from various countries received by King Varkuman. These envoys and ambassadors converge from left and right. On the left side of the western wall are Chaganians, a main speaker of the inscription, and dignitaries from Chach. Chaganian and Chachi refer to Surkandaria province and Tashkent, respectively, and both are located in the west region of Samarkand. On the right side are shown a group of 3 in front of a man presumed to be a subject of the king. One has a leopard skin over his arm, and they may come from mountains like Tibet. Behind them stands Koreans wearing feathered hats and ring pommel swords. In the center, the Tang Dynasty's envoys bearing gifts of cocoons and silk also seem to walk from the right group. All of them came from the east of Samarkand. Around the group of the delegates, Turks are seated or standing. On both sides of the mural are shields and flagpoles, which are interpreted to show characteristics of nomadic tribes. On top of this, we can get a glimpse of the Turks' influence over the region. Then, what was depicted on the damaged upper section of the mural? Most scholars assume that King Varkuman must have been there. And others suggest there must have been a god. Looking from the west wall mural to the left, a procession painted in brilliant colors fills the south wall. A guarded structure and a few people are at the lead. Moving toward the lead, the procession is approached by a rider on a decorated elephant. 3 figures on horseback follow right behind the elephant. 2 men on camelback move forward, and each man holds a club that appears to be used for a ritual. Behind them, figures wearing face masks lead 2 pairs of geese and an unmanned horse. At the rear of the procession, an outsized image of a lower half of a figure is assumed to be King Varkumen on horseback. The king was followed by his equestrian troops. This procession is assumed to be one to pay respects to ancestors' tombs or a wedding ceremony. What is clear about the South Wall mural is that religious elements on the South Wall coincide with characteristics of the Zoroastrian religion. The North Wall mural is filled with a painting with a theme of the Tang Dynasty. In a boat on the left side sits a lady assumed to be the empress of the Tang Dynasty. In the center, about 10 attendants and boatmen. Under the boat are imaginary creatures, ducks, a feeding mother bird, and baby birds and lotuses. To the right of the Empress's boat are guards sitting in a boat, water buffaloes, and cattle drovers. On land is a vigorous hunting scene in which a hunter on horseback is piercing a wild beast with his spear, and another hunter on horseback is about to shoot an arrow at another beast. Like the South Wall mural, here again, a figure in the center is depicted as an oversized image. Scholars mostly regard him as the Chinese emperor. It is not obvious why the entire northern wall was devoted to the depiction of the Tang Dynasty. Clearly, however, this region maintained a fairly friendly relationship with the Chinese dynasty. This is in line with a record that King Varkumen received a title from the Tang Dynasty in the mid-7th century. Lastly, let's look into the east wall near the entrance. On the left, we can recognize a man in a chair, reaching out his hand toward a round object. Another man kneeling down in front of him, and a man on horseback. As on the right, there are seen naked children, a person holding the tail of a water buffalo, fish, and ducks. This is assumed to depict the aquatic or swamp scene. This scene could be interpreted by some scholars as a paradise of India or of the Zoroastrian religion. So far, we have examined the Afro-Siab murals on the 4 walls. Because most parts were irremediably destroyed, we could not get a complete answer to the descriptive narrative of the wall paintings. However, we could get a glimpse of not only political and diplomatic relations in the Samarkand regions of the 7th century, but also of religions, rituals, lifestyles, and arts through the exquisite descriptions and paintings of brilliant colors. Although the Sogdian era came to an end due to the attacks of the Arabs, the prosperity and internationality of Samarkand seen on the murals still remain today.